nice group here, my usual, so welcome this morning, and welcome Facebook world. So this is a first for us. I'm excited. My name is Ulrike McCarty, and I am with River of Life Yoga here in Buchanan, and I've been teaching here at the Senior Center for a little over a year now, and it's been very exciting to be here. I really enjoy being here with all of you, and we will just have a wonderful practice this morning. And we talked about live streaming because we can go back to it and look at it. So maybe on some of those days that you're not able to be here, that you can look back and do this practice at home. So we will come seated all the way back into our chair. Remember to have your sacrum resting into the back of the chair, your ankles right under your knees, and feel free to move your knees around as far apart as it's comfortable for you. I invite you to close your eyes and just rest your hands on your thighs or knees. Remember a hand gesture or mudra. So if you like to receive some energy this morning, place your palms facing up so you're ready to receive. If you feel like you just need to already come down this morning or just start your day a little bit more grounded, place your palms facing down. I invite you to just pay attention to your breath, closing your eyes if you have not already done so. So just notice your breathing. Just notice your inhale and your exhale. Notice maybe where you're breathing, how you're breathing. Now remembering your yoga breath, the one we've been practicing for a while now. So we're inhaling through the nose, so taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Drawing it into the lower parts of your lungs so your belly will blossom, and then bringing that breath up into your rib cage, into your chest, your throat, maybe even into your back. And then as you exhale, exhaling through your nose again, letting go of all the breath, letting your chest deflate, letting your belly deflate. Maybe even drawing the muscles around your belly button towards each other. Bring that belly button towards the spine, so really squeezing out the breath. And just take it easy with your breath. So don't try too hard, just let it be natural. But try to take a deep, full inhale and exhale. Notice as you inhale the coolness of the breath entering your nostrils. As you're exhaling, notice the warmth of the breath as the air is leaving your nostrils. Remember to ground yourself through your sit bones, reaching up through the crown. So sitting nice and tall using your core muscles, but releasing the rest of your body as you settle into your practice for today. And we will start to lengthen the exhalation for a little bit more relaxation this morning. So I invite you to inhale to a count of 3, and then exhale to a count of 5, or somewhere around there. So if counting is too much for you this morning, then don't worry about it. So remembering your complete breath. So inhaling through the nose, taking that breath in, and invite the breath into your body. Bringing it all the way down towards your belly. And as you exhale, fully exhaling, thinking about that oxygen energy exchange, drawing in fresh oxygen energy as you're inhaling, and then releasing that energy as you're exhaling, releasing any used oxygen as you're exhaling. Notice that your mind hopefully has settled a little bit more as you're concentrating on your inhale and as you're having your exhale. So we will slowly just come back to regular breath, no more counting. So after your next inhale with your exhale, just exhale at your regular pace and then just come back to your normal inhale and exhale. I'll invite you to take a nice deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And we'll do that 2 more times. So taking a nice deep inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And one last time, nice deep inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. I'll invite you to bring your hands to heart center. We'll inhale the hands up, reaching through the fingertips. You may take your gaze up or keep your eyes closed yet. As we exhale, drawing the hands apart, pressing the palms down towards the ground. Again, bring the hands to heart center. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhaling the hands all the way up, reaching. Exhaling, drawing the hands apart and really press down through the palms and press away through the fingertips. One last time. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling, reaching down. Placing your hands back on your thighs or knees. We'll bring the knees apart just a little bit further. We'll place our left hand onto our thigh knee, inhaling the right hand up, reaching, and exhaling over to the left. So you can take your elbow. If you do the wrong side, it's okay, because we're gonna switch. So reaching with your right hand. Really breathe into that right side. Maybe thinking about pressing that right sit bone down into your chair support. Inhaling back up to center and slowly releasing. Inhaling the left hand up, supporting with your right arm. Exhaling over to the right. Again, now breathing into this left side. Thinking about pressing down through that left foot and your left sit bone. 1 more breath here. Inhaling back up to center. Releasing, and we'll switch sides. So as I always say, make the movement as big or as small as you feel that you want to right now. It's all good. So inhaling the right hand up, exhaling, reaching over. You can keep your gaze right over your chest, or you can take your gaze and look up at your palm. Important part is to really breathe into that right side and reaching through the fingertips. We'll inhale back up to center and we will release as we exhale. Inhaling the left, reaching, exhaling, reaching over to the right. Again, keep this front body nice and open. Breathe into that left side. Inhaling back up to center and releasing. And we'll come into just an easy twist. You know the drill. So left hand onto right knee. Right hand behind us, anywhere where it's comfortable on the chair. Sit nice and tall. We'll take an inhale, grow through the spine and through the crown. Gazes over your chest. As you exhale, draw yourself to the right. So you can bring your hand, press lightly into your leg to help yourself come into this twist. Breathe into this restriction. Remember, you can keep your gaze over your chest, or you can take your gaze over the right shoulder. One more breath here. And with your exhale, slowly release back to center. We'll inhale nice and tall again. Now to the left. So right hand onto left knee. Nice and tall. Left hand behind you. Press your feet into the ground. Nice inhale as you exhale, now twisting to the left. Again, you can use that momentum, pressing with your hand into the side of your thigh. And just slightly bringing that right shoulder forward into that chest. Again, you can keep your gaze over your chest, or take your gaze over your left shoulder. One more breath here. And as you exhale, slowly return to center. Next, I need a drink of water, so feel free. You hear the train, it's a nice sound. So keeping your knees apart, we'll come into very slow hip circles. So thinking about it, how we move in cat and cow, so it's that same kind of movement. As we come forward, we're inhaling. So we'll begin. We'll inhale coming forward. So take your gaze up, you bring up your chest. As you come back, you're rounding your back. So you're very slowly just moving with your upper body, leading with your front body. Inhaling as you come forward. As you circle back, you're kind of bringing that tailbone down, bring the belly button to the spine. As you come forward, you stick that tail out, you bring your chest up, your gaze up. So very slowly. And you may have noticed I didn't really tell you which way to circle, and that's okay. As long as you remember which way you started, because about halfway through we're going to switch. So that's, I guess, your homework today, to remember. So make the movement as small or big as you like. So the more you reach forward and you reach through your crown, you feel a nice stretch. And just loosening up the hips. As you come back, you take your gaze down. And feel free to move with your arms too. So you can, again, make the movement as big or as little as you like. But move slowly and with intention. So coming back to center, and then we will switch sides. Let's see if we can do that. So it will feel a little bit different. Usually the side or the way that we start with is the part that we're comfortable with. So really lift through your rib cage and extend through your crown. Slowly come back to center. That felt really nice. So let's come a little bit closer to the front of the chair, where you can still feel your sit bones grounded, but your legs feel a little bit more free. We'll bring the hands to heart center. We'll interlace the fingers. We'll reach out through the palms. Remember to keep the shoulders soft. Pressing through the palms. We'll inhale all the way up. We'll exhale, reaching down. Bring the hands to heart center again. This time we'll reach out through the fingertips, the palms are facing each other. So remember to bring those shoulders forward, so we'll come into our eagle arms. We love those, don't we? Remember to be mindful with your arms. So the more you reach, the easier it is for you to keep your arms up. So we'll take the right over the left, and then we'll give ourselves a hug. So really reach back, try to hug yourself as tight as it's comfortable for you, and then slowly release, and then we'll try to go for that second cross. If it doesn't happen for you, if you're here, that's okay too. Again, remember to be mindful. So while here, think about reaching up through the right fingertips, pressing out with the elbows, so away from you. Keep breathing, so inhaling, exhaling. Keep that extension through your crown, so reaching through the crown, pressing down through your sit bones. Breathing into your back, so feeling that stretch in your upper back between the shoulders. One more breath here, and then very slowly release your arms and slowly let them come down. Let's do a couple shoulder rolls. So inhaling the shoulders up, exhaling back and down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Bring the hands to heart center again. We'll reach out in front of us, this time the other way. So left over the right. Remember to really bring the arms forward, crossing, and then going for that second cross. Again, give yourself a hug as tight as you like. You know, hugging, you know, is not quite the essential lately, but so we have to give ourselves a hug. So slowly release, and then coming into that second cross. Just try your best wherever you're at. Again, reaching up now through the left fingertips, pressing out the elbows away from you until you feel a nice, comfortable stretch between your shoulder blades. Back off if this is the side that's aggravating you. If you like energy connection, this is where you may take that right thumb and you can place it right between your eyebrows, just above the nose. So this is where we connect with one of our energy centers, the third eye. Remember to keep reaching through the crown, breathing into the pose. One last inhale, and as you exhale, slowly release your arms. And then again, we'll roll the shoulders just to give us a little bit of relief. And next, we'll bring the knees apart, so everybody's to the front of the chair. Yes. So bringing the knees apart as it's comfortable for you. Remember to have your toes in line with your knees, and your ankles should be under your knees. We're going to come into that forward fold. So placing your hands right on your thighs, take a nice inhale, reach up through the crown, and fold forward. So keeping a nice flat back. So we're reaching back through the tailbone, pressing the sit bones into the chair, and we're reaching through the crown. With your next exhale, slowly bring your hands or your fingertips down to the floor. It's cold. Yes, it is cold. Yes, it is. And then we'll slowly walk the hands over to the right foot. Think about still pressing the feet into the ground. It also helps us to not lift off the chair. We want to stay grounded, right? We'll get in trouble if we lift off here. So taking your left hand and walking the hand just a little bit further away from you. Feel a little bit more stretch in your left side. And then slowly walk that hand back, and then walk the hands back to center, and then all the way to the left foot. Again, if this is enough of a stretch for you, and maybe you can't reach the floor, you can always bring your hands just right to your ankle, the top of your foot. If you like a little bit more of a stretch, bring your right hand out in front of you. Breathe into that right side. And then slowly walk the hands back to center. Here, if it's okay for you to bring your head below your heart, you may fold all the way down, bringing the crown towards the floor. If you know you have restrictions and you need to keep your head above your heart, just stay in this flat back. With your next inhale, bring your hands back to your thighs or knees, and then inhale all the way up. And our hips feel looser. So we're going to slowly come out of the chair. And we'll come behind the chair. We'll make sure to take a drink. I know this is the season of sniffles and runny noses, and I just have you folding down, so all my fault. So I guess remembering to bring tissues. So standing behind the chair, feet hip width apart, and just holding onto the chair lightly for balance, for touch and go. So we're going to come into our mountain pose, Tandasana. So you can hold onto the chair, or you can have your hands down by your side. Palms facing forward, reaching through the fingertips. You may close your eyes, or just keep a soft gaze. Here, I would like you to feel like a strong mountain. So reaching through the crown, as if you're trying to reach up to the sky, pressing your feet into the ground. And slightly shift your weight. So shift your weight over your heels. So bringing the hips over your heels. You feel that your toes are coming up lightly. And then shifting your hips all the way forward. And you feel all the weight going into your forefoot. And then come back somewhere in that middle. And that's the place where we want to be. Pressing your feet into the ground, maybe thinking about spreading those toes. And trying to distribute the weight evenly into your feet. You should feel your thighs working, your kneecaps should be lifted. You should feel your glutes. And then reaching through the fingertips as if you're trying to reach the ground, at the same time reaching up through the crown. And taking a nice deep breath in here, opening that front body. And exhaling and releasing. Who knew standing could be so hard, right? So we're going to go through our lovely toe lift series. I know you love that one so much. So we're going to stand just as we did in mountain pose. We'll inhale coming up onto the toes. Remember, you can make that movement as big or small as you like. Exhaling, coming down. We'll inhale coming all the way up. Thinking about reaching through the crown. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And now we'll go back. So we'll inhale, we'll slightly shift the hips back, we'll lift up the toes. Exhaling down. Inhaling, lifting the toes. Remember, just slightly shift the hips back, maybe bend your knees a little bit. Exhaling down. Inhaling the toes up. Exhaling down. And now we'll do the movement all together. So we'll inhale, coming all the way up, reaching. Exhaling, coming down, and then inhaling, we'll shift back. Exhaling down. Inhaling, coming up, really reach through the crown. Exhaling down. Inhaling back. Exhaling down. One last time, inhaling up, make it nice and big. Exhaling down. Inhaling the toes. Up, exhaling down. And then release your legs, your feet. I have to move my chair just a little bit. Now we'll bring a little bit more movement. I'm gonna check the time here. We're good. So threading the needle, again, making the movement as big or as small as you like. Am I still good in that? Okay. You know, just like winging this whole live thing. It's all right. So find your distance behind the chair. You know how far you like to be back. You still want to be able to reach the chair, but bring your feet as wide apart as possible. And as we're doing the movement, you can always bend your knees a little bit too. So we'll start out with the right, holding onto the chair with the left. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. You can even take your gaze up and you can even come onto your toes. As you exhale, you take your palm down. You're reaching through as if you're threading a needle. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Again, reaching, making it as tall as you can. As you exhale, bringing the hand through. Take your gaze with your fingertips. Bend your knees slightly. Again, inhaling up. Breathe into that front body. Exhaling. This is where you tuck your tailbone, bring the belly to your spine, similar to the cat-cow movement. One last time, inhaling up tall. As you exhale, slowly come down. Or feel free to do another movement. All right, we'll come to the other side. Make any adjustments. So we'll inhale the left up. As we exhale, we'll thread the needle and coming through. Then we'll inhale, make it as tall as you can, reach up. Exhaling, threading the needle. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhaling, threading the needle. One last time. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling, threading the needle. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling, slowly releasing and settling down. So next, we will come into our downward facing dog. You want to hold onto the chair, make sure you have enough space behind you. And if you eventually maybe watch this and you're at home, use the back of a couch or a countertop or a table instead of the chair, and that will work great too. So holding onto the chair, have your feet about hip width apart, and then just slowly start to walk your feet back, press back through your hips. You start to take your gaze down, and until you reach full stretch, extension of your arms, find that perfect place. Everybody looks good. And then let your head come down between your arms. Keep your arms active. And once you reach that place, everybody looks good. Remember to bring those sit bones apart. Let those thighs roll in. Maybe keep the knees slightly bent. Keep pressing back through the sit bones. Take your gaze down and thinking about reaching through the crown. And at the same time, reaching through your tailbone. It's all about the extension of the spine here. And then inhaling, slowly start to walk your feet back towards the chair, keeping your knees bent, or you can come up as you inhale. Nice job. So next we'll come into our warrior pose. And you guys do so awesome. We use the chair in a different way than you usually see it. we'll come behind the chair, we'll bring the left hip behind the chair. So yes, it will be opposite from me. We'll bring the left foot in front of us and the right foot behind us. And finding a comfortable distance. Remember that our hips are facing forward and that our feet are maybe hip-width apart or wider. So the wider we take the feet apart, the more stable you will be in the pose. So press back through that right heel and then press your left foot. Press into that left foot as if you're trying to lift up and press yourself away. So if you're not holding onto the chair, you should feel pretty stable in this pose. You can always hold onto the chair. So we'll bend into that left knee. Remember, the knee should be right over your ankle or behind, never over the toes. So especially here, think about really pressing into that left foot to keep yourself stable and pressing back through that right foot. Breathe into this front side. And if you can, maybe take your hands to heart center. Inhale your hands all the way up. Bring your hands apart. Reach through the fingertips. Maybe you can take your gaze up. If you feel unstable, always reach back for that chair. Same benefit, just a little bit more stable. So if you come into a little bit more of a back bend, you're reaching up through your fingertips. Remember to bring the tailbone down. Breathe into this a little bit more, one more breath. And then slowly bring your hands back down to heart center and release your hands. And then bring your right foot to meet the left. Shake out your legs. And then we'll turn. So now right hip facing the back of the chair. We'll bring the right foot ahead, the left foot behind, and then adjust your stance. Again, the wider apart your feet are, the more stable you become. I widen mine when I teach because when I teach and talk, it's hard for me to sometimes keep my balance, especially as I'm looking around. So again, and even the distance of your feet, lengthwise, play around with that. Obviously, the further away you bring that right foot, the deeper you come into this warrior pose, the more stretch you will receive. But if you're not ready for that, then that's okay. Keep your hand on that right chair, if you like, for stability. So again, find your center, press back through that left foot, press away with that right, and then bend that right knee. Again, remember, right over your ankle or behind. And when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale your hands up, reaching. Again, you can reach for that chair for stability and just reach up with your left. Press back through that left heel to straighten that back leg. Breathe into that front body. And if you're more into a back bend, remember to extend through the crown especially and down through your tailbone. And then slowly coming back up to center, bringing your hands back to heart center, releasing, and then bringing the left to meet the right and shake out your legs. And then we'll bring our feet about hip-width apart. A little further than hip-width, sorry. I misspoke. Because that would be wrong, right? My hips are here and my feet are here. So as far apart as it's comfortable for you. And I'd like you to have your toes in line with your ankles. So not having your toes out. And just press into the outer edges of your feet. We're going to come into the other warrior series. So this time our hips will be facing the chair and we're going to try to keep the hips facing that way. So we'll turn that right foot out and then we'll bring the left heel back. So the left toes are now facing the same direction as your right foot. So remember to try and keep the hips towards the back of the chair and your upper body. We'll slowly bend that right knee. Again, press yourself away so you have that stability. Center yourself. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale your hands all the way up. Exhale down. And then draw those shoulder blades down. Now take your gaze over your right hand and bend into that right knee. Again, as you look down, you want to make sure your knee's over your ankle and your knee's not inward or outward. Press back through that left heel. That's what keeps you stable. Reach through the fingertips. So the more you reach, the stronger you are. Everything should be working. And then very slowly release your arms, straighten that leg, and then turn your foot back in, and then bring your feet back together. Shake them out, and then we'll go to the opposite side. Again, as far apart as it's comfortable. And then we'll kick out the left. And then we'll lift up the right heel, bring it back. Again, find that stability, making sure you're facing forward. Sorry. This is like monkey see, monkey do. No. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale your hands up. And then bring your arms down. Remember to keep those shoulders soft, so drawing the shoulder blades together and down. And then we'll take our gaze over that left hand and now bend into that left knee. Again, make sure as you're looking down, your knee is not over your toes. Should be right about above your ankle or behind. Press back through that right leg. The right foot. Take your gaze over the fingertips. Reach up through the crown and press your feet into the ground. So your whole body should be working in this pose. This is a warrior pose. One more breath here. And then slowly release your hands. Straighten that leg. Bring that toe back in. And slowly bring your feet back together. Shake out your legs. And what's our practice without tree pose, right? And right now we still have leaves. So that's pretty awesome. And they're beautiful. Beautiful leaves right now. So we'll go back to that left hip. So stand behind the chair, left hip facing the back of the chair. Hold on with your left. Feet are about hip width apart. And bring all your weight into that left foot. And remember that you don't hang out in that hip. So really press down into that foot, lifting up through the crown. Bend that right knee. Bring the toes to the ground. And then bring the heel resting right above your ankle, your left ankle. We talked about the whole shoe thing. It's a little bit different if you have your shoes. So make sure you're not pressing into your ankle bone. You find a comfortable spot right above your ankle or maybe below. So here, remember, your hips are facing forward. You reach up through the crown. And then slightly draw that knee out away from you. So you're opening that right hip just as far as it's comfortable. So you should feel a lot of action in your glutes, your inner thighs. Your standing leg, your foundation leg should be screaming at you at this point. You're quiet. So once you find your stability, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale your hands all the way up. Release your palms, reach up through the fingertips, your crown. Engage that pull core. as you're pressing the energy down and up at the same time. So feeling like a nice, strong tree trunk. As you expand your branches, you can even bring your fingertips apart. One more breath here, and then slowly bring your hands back to heart center and release. Release your leg. As always, you can shake out your legs, and then we'll turn the other way. So right hip facing the back of the chair. Now putting all the weight into that right leg. Again, don't get hippie with me. So pressing down, making sure this is a nice, stable leg, nice tree trunk. Then bend that left leg, bend that knee, come onto the toes. Make sure you have that foundation, and then bring your heel right above your ankles. Find that comfortable place. But as always, feel free to bring your foot up higher. So it's totally up to you. Now breathe into your hips and just start to draw that left knee out. So use your muscles. You should feel your glutes as you're drawing out that left knee. Again, press down through that right foot. That's your foundation. As if you're trying to come up off the ground. Once you're stable, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale the hands all the way up. Reaching through the fingertips, reaching through the crown. Your whole core should be engaged, and you should feel the extension between the earth and the sky. Keep your gaze in front of you. If you feel unstable, you can always bring your right hand back down. Find something in front of you that you can concentrate on, keep your gaze on, a drishti point as we call it in yoga. One more breath here, and then slowly bring your hands down. Release your hands, release your foot, shake out your legs. We ready to come back in our seat?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Nice work, nice work. So coming all the way back into that chair, before we rest into Shavasana, we'll come into that awesome twist that I like, the one that you get confused on, but that's okay. So I will actually, I'm going to turn my chair. That way I can keep an eye on you. And we're all going the same direction, because even I get confused, as you know. So we're going to bring the left hip to that chair seat. Remember to always have that nice foundation, knees over your ankles, press those sit bones into the ground, sit nice and tall. Reach up through the crown. Inhale. And as you exhale, turn your upper body back to the back of the chair. Bringing your hands to the back of the chair, but you want to make sure you keep the elbows down, the shoulders soft, and your gaze over your rib cage. Reach up through the crown as you're pressing down through your sit bones. So really breathe into this twist. So you feel that restriction, and that's good. So bringing movement into your belly. So getting some movement in those intestines. It's good for digestion. If you feel that this twist is great right here, I invite you to stay. Or if you like to move into the twist a little bit more, use your hands. So bringing the right hand behind the chair, and you're pulling the right shoulder towards the back of the chair. You bring the left hand to the front of the chair. And you press the palm lightly into that chair, bringing that left shoulder back. So two actions here. You're bringing the right shoulder forward, the left shoulder back. I know that's where we get confused, and it's okay. If it's too much work on this early morning, we can just, relax and come into our regular twist. The important part is that you don't forget to breathe. Breathing into this twist, pressing down through that right sit bone. Take one more last deep inhale, and then as you exhale, slowly release. Whew, that always feels good. That awesome little turn. Yeah, this is usually when water bottles start flying, and it's all good. So again, always setting yourself up, especially with our twists. We want to make sure we extend the spine first. So find that foundation again, knees over your ankles. Lift up through the crown, take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, twisting towards the back of the chair. So again, in this case, you want to especially press that left sit bone down into the chair. Thinking about twisting right from your hips, above your hips, bringing your rib cage towards the back of the chair. Again, if this feels wonderful for you, you can stay here, just making sure you bring the elbows down, keeping the shoulders down and soft, reaching up through the crown. If you like a little bit more, in this case, we want to bring this right shoulder back. For some reason, it feels like a left shoulder today. Bringing that right hand to the inside of that chair, pressing your palm into the chair, bringing that right shoulder back. And then the left hand.
The right left hand?
Yes. The left, correcting myself, the left hand behind the chair, and just lightly, very gently, bringing that left shoulder forward. So it's just a gentle movement. We're not forcing anything. It's just bringing us into the twist just a little bit more. Again, press through your sit bones, press your feet into the ground, lift up through the crown, and breathe. One more breath here, and as you exhale, slowly release. And then guess what? It's time for Shavasana. Yay! So coming all the way back into your chair. Again, so you can feel your sacrum resting into the back of the chair. You can maybe even reach back and just move that flesh away from your sit bones. Find the distance of your knees that's comfortable for you, but make sure you have your knees right over your ankles and lightly pressing your feet into the ground. I invite you to bring your hands to your thighs and knees again. Closing your eyes gently, or just keep a soft gaze. Of course, as usual, we're pressing our sit bones into the chair, and we're reaching up through the crown. So we want to have that connection. Again, use the mudra of your choice. So you can have your palms facing down or your palms facing up. It's completely up to you. So just slowly settle yourself into our final resting pose, Shavasana, or as my grandson calls it, the do nothing pose. And that's exactly what we're doing, is nothing. But we're breathing. So just letting yourself rest. So let yourself feel heavy. Letting yourself rest into your support. So in this case, the chair, the ground. Keeping that nice extension through the crown, but let everything become soft. So let your hands just be supported by your thighs. Let your hands become soft, maybe even making a fist and then releasing your fingers. Let your shoulders become soft. Just let those elbows hang out. Notice your breath and just bring your attention back to your breathing. On Shavasana, we just would like to let the body do the breathing for us. So we're not changing much about it other than having your complete breath. But it's a more shallow breath that we're inviting. So just noticing your inhale as you're breathing in through the nose. Inviting that breath down into your belly. And as you exhale, letting go of all the breath through your nose. And with each exhale, let yourself settle into your resting space just a little bit more. Think about letting your belly become soft. Shoulders releasing. Release any tension you may be holding in your neck. Release your jaw and just let the tongue drop away from the roof of your mouth. So your lips may come apart. Releasing any other features that feel tight. We even hold tension in our cheekbones, so just releasing that tension. Releasing our ears. And letting our eyes settle. You may notice a lot of movement in your eyelids, so letting them release. Letting your eyes settle and just float in their eye sockets. And thinking about releasing any tension you may still be holding on your forehead, your scalp. Just imagine it just melting away. If your mind still seems to be unsettled, just give your mind something to do. That's what our mind likes. So just bring your attention to your breath. Just let your mind follow your breathing as you're inhaling and exhaling. Just letting yourself just rest in this present moment. As you're resting in this final pose, thinking about self-love, so love to give to yourself. In yoga, we call it ahimsa, and it's one of the guidelines that we try to live by. As you know, self-love is the hardest thing to give. Storms rage about me. I calm my heart and send out ribbons of peace. breathing more actively, wiggling your fingers and toes. And I'll invite you to bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, your hands up, reaching. And as you exhale, giving yourself a nice big stretch as you press your palms down. Let's place our hands back on our thighs or knees. And I'll invite you to close our practice as we usually do with 3 ohms. So just a mantra of oneness. If anyone is not comfortable in using that mantra, we can just hum, make the humming sound of a bumblebee. Same purpose. So we're going to take a nice deep inhale and begin. Notice the vibration in your body and slowly let it settle. I know sometimes we just don't really want to open our eyes. Bring your hands back to heart center, and I thank you for joining me this morning. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.